I'm at work.
Hooray!
I'm recording live from the WSBT radio stations because apparently people have been coming in here and recording podcasts on their own without telling me. So I come into my studio the next day and everything's fucked up.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah, but I can easily control all the volumes and.
But now you're the guy who gets to fuck up everything.
Yeah, everything's gonna get fucked up now.
Yeah, all works out.
But yeah, and most important, no beeping.
Oh my god!
I know.
Well, for those
silence.
who don't like the beeping missing, I'll just add it in.
we'll have the beep cast and then we'll have the silent cast.
Just like this.
The beep cast and the silent cast.
Like this point.
Oh, that's a good place for beeping.
Beep beep. I'll just regularly while I'm talking, I'll just go beep beep.
Get your cat to meow every once in a while. Also, hello and welcome to Tudor. I hardly know her. It has been far too long.
I was saying,
been
and
back.
I've hardly seen you guys.
I know. Tudor.
Yeah, no shit.
Tudor, I've hardly seen her.
Yeah, it's been too long. But yeah, in case you guys didn't get the memo, Emily, big preggers.
Emily, super pregger. Not super preggers. I'm just in my second trimester.
You're pretty preggers.
But no, last week we weren't able to record because
Scheduling.
I was traveling for work.
You were out of town. I had
Also,
work
Emily
closing.
is-
Jeff
shifts,
was working.
So
It really was, and then we celebrated Father's Day with Jeff's family a week late. So it really did just have it was sucky timing.
Jeff, you can celebrate Father's Day soon.
we
I already
kinda did already.
I already got him. I got him gifts for the baby this year. Do you want to tell him what you got?
Now your kid can just start buying you like golf related stuff, even though you don't like golf.
Yep.
And okay,
Give me all the cards that have
and-
fart and beer jokes on them.
and NASCAR. Don't forget the NASCAR. Jeff got.
Also, speaking of which of beer and fart jokes, I'm also very disappointed that none of us realized that last episode was episode 69.
No, don't worry. Our
Oh,
friend Matt,
man.
who recommended the topic, he was very excited when he realized he was recommending the topic for 69.
What was the topic for that one?
It was Ireland. No, fuck, guys. What was our last topic?
Audience, what was it?
Let me check.
Oh, thanks. Cool. Almost forgot.
Thanks, guys. You are on it. I haven't looked at anything with our podcast lately. I'm so sorry, guys. I swear to God, I still love doing it. I just have been so busy. And while I was researching today, I remembered exactly why I love doing this. I mean, also you guys, but it was just so nice to...
Honestly, this is a nice break
enmeshed.
for us from like our normal work days and everything.
It is. It's just like...
I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, this podcast provides some relief.
This is a hobby for us.
Oh, our last episode was talking about the transition from Elizabeth I to King James.
Correct. That's right.
No, I love doing the podcast. It's such a welcome relief from everything. And I don't know if our listeners know this, but I have serious anxiety, and it's kicked up a notch lately, which is not fun at all. If you have anxiety, you know what I mean. But for those who don't have anxiety, imagine that there's this tiny creature inside of your chest, very carefully and very slowly clawing its way out. And it's
That's
just...
the plot of Alien.
Oh, fuck. God damn it.
We're gonna
Also your pregnancy.
That's the baby. Oh, shit. That's what pregnancy is. No,
It's an alien.
So anxiety sucks. And I was doing my research today, and just being back in the Tudor world helped calm me down. So thank you guys for listening and letting me have a reason to continue doing this. And with that, should we get started?
Yeah, I have no idea what we're even going to talk about today.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Well, today's topic has actually been recommended a lot in the last couple of weeks by a few listeners. We are going to talk about some martyrs of the Tudor times. And by Tudor times,
God, yes, Emily, I love you.
Oh, man, this is my life.
Yeah, Jeff. Okay, for those... Oh, my God, Jeff's the biggest martyr. Him and his dad. Such martyrs. This was recommended by a couple of people in the last couple of weeks, so I've been latched onto the idea, and I'm really excited to discuss it. So we're going to talk about 3 martyrs, 2 of which I knew, 1 of which I had never heard of.
Henry VIII.
Yes, he was a martyr. He's such a dick. Are you ready?
Yep.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's rock this shit. So we're going to start with Elizabeth Barton. She was also called the Nun of Kent and the Holy Maid of Kent. By the way, listeners, I have a cold. So if it sounds like I'm saying a lot of D's, it's because I can't breathe through my nose. So we're going to talk about the Nun of Kent.
The Nun of Kent.
The Nun of Kent. Okay, so she was called the Nun of Kent and the Holy Maid of Kent, amongst a couple other variations of that name. The Holy Nun, the Maid of Nun Witch, stuff like that. So she was born in 15...
None such.
There's none such none like none.
She was full of nonsense. She was born in 1506 to a very poor family, as you will back then. Also, while I was researching this, I actually got very irritated that we knew when this woman was born, but we don't know when Anne Boleyn or Catherine Howard were born.
I'm going to blame that more on Henry.
No. Catherine Howard was, her father was one of, she was one of like 20,000 children. I think it was closer to like 15.
They stopped counting.
They stopped counting after 5. They got so many spares. No, she was one of like 20.
Well, Anne Boleyn,
and her father
I
was
just guess
poor.
because it's just like Henry's like, how can I literally erase her from history?
No,
Good
it's
call.
because it wasn't recorded. Girls weren't as important back then. Although still, Elizabeth Barton. Either
Why
way.
was it recorded for some people and not others? Or is it just like,
it
this unlucky
mostly-
bastard didn't get their date recorded?
Whenever I find something where they're pretty sure about someone's birth, they usually link it back to the baptism records kept by the church. So if the church had shitty record keepers or like drunk record keepers or whatever, then it would be bad. People wouldn't exactly know.
Mhm.
So she was born in 1506, and then around 1525 she started having visions.
Oh,
Although I'm not,
I like this.
I know. So
Weird history. Let's go.
She was 19 years old, and she was working as a servant, and she became severely ill. And during that illness, she claimed she was having divine revelations that would predict the future and also tell people to be good Catholics. So one of the predictions she gave was that one of the children living in her household would die. And I don't know about you, but if I was living in a house with a woman who was like, somebody's going to die,
Well,
I'd be like, I'm out of here.
I
You're
would
dying
not-
there.
Do not eat any food that you did not prep yourself.
Mhm.
That reminds me of a funny thing I saw on Reddit. Somebody questioned how many poor cooks were convicted of attempted murder because the food taster for a prince or king had a deadly reaction to something they were being served. Like they went into anaphylactic shock from having a peanut sauce, and the king was like, he tried to fucking murder me.
Poison!
One of those predictions was that a child living in her household would die, and then a lot of it was really just pleas for people to be good Catholics. So take pilgrimages, pray to the Virgin Mary, yada yada yada.
So she started doing all this while she was sick, or she got sick and then when she got better, she's like, I can see things now.
She started having visions while sick, but then continued having visions afterwards.
So it's kind of like Stephen King's Dead Zone.
I don't know that one.
Me
guy,
neither.
the guy who, like, when he touches people, he'll see how they'll die.
Oh fuck, that sounds horrible.
Oh, what's his sex life like?
Just keep seeing the death over and over again.
Every 5 seconds.
No, it was a TV series too. It had the guy from Breakfast Club and 16
Anthony Michael Hall.
Yes.
Oh. That's
Like he was in an accident, and then when he like woke up, he like touched someone, like he saw how they were gonna die, and then witnessed them die.
that fucking
Yeah, the
sucks.
movie was Christopher Walken, right?
Yes, that's right. I couldn't
Yeah.
remember.
Well, that's probably exactly what happened to Elizabeth Barton. She was in a car crash.
The Tudor Zone.
So,
A carriage crash.
once her prophecies started coming true, her reputation started spreading, and people were like, "Oh, there's this holy woman who keeps saying cool shit that comes true." She was like Teresa
Caputo?
Yeah, who takes advantage of people's broken hearts to tell them bullshit.
Oh, the medium. Oh, and like I pointed out to you, Jonathan Edwards.
Yeah. We've had this conversation
He was
before.
in town recently, and
Teresa Caputo is coming into town here.
Oh,
and a little part of my soul died when I had to cut a commercial for her because gross.
Gross. So the parish priests were like, hey, we have this chick here who can tell the future. We should have somebody investigate this who's from a Catholic group. So an archbishop came to town, and he wanted to make sure that that when she was giving prophecies, they better be fucking Catholic prophecies. None of this bullshit anything else
this
prophecies.
child will die, and Jesus will appear on his birthmark.
So once the
one.
archbishop was like, yeah, she's totally saying Catholic prophecies, he moved her to a Benedictine priory, and that's where she became a nun. Except I wrote numb. Apparently I have a writing issue. So things were going pretty well for her for a little while, actually. 1528, she met with Wolsey. And then later, she actually met Henry VIII himself twice. At that time, Henry was totally cool with the shit she was saying because...
That's why I was so curious, because we were talking about how you couldn't make predictions about people before. Wasn't like, especially when you talk about the witchcraft craze and that kind of stuff. I like how, as long as you say Catholic things, it's okay.
Catholic, it's cool. Otherwise, it's witchcraft.
I was going to say, did Henry and her meet pre-split or no?
Yes, it was 1520. It was around 1528, 1529. So this was pre him breaking up the church and trying to divorce Catherine. And he was totally cool with her because all that she was saying had to do with being a Catholic.
You're going to get old and fat.
Yeah, she didn't say that. She was like, be a good Catholic. And Henry's like, well, I hate Martin Luther. I'm the best fucking Catholic. The Pope said so.
I wouldn't go on any horses anytime soon.
She looks at the camera and winks.
She's like, in the year 1536, avoid horses.
1536, avoid everything.
Just lock yourself in a room.
I predict in the future you'll be played by a guy who doesn't want to wear a fat suit.
And who has brown hair and looks like your douchey ex-boyfriend. So most of her prophecies around that time were really about heresy being bad and rebellion being bad. So, of course, Henry VIII was totally cool with that because he didn't like heretics and he didn't like rebellion. But then Henry VIII wanted his divorce and also no more pope. And that didn't jive with her predictions. So in 1532, she started prophesying that if he remarried, he would die within a few months. She was not taking it too lightly.
I was curious how vague she was going to try and make these predictions.
Okay, she gets so specific with her predictions. She said that Henry, if Henry continued with his folly and he died, she saw where in hell he would be.
Ooh.
I know.
They're going to make you watch reruns of Sinbad.
Jeff, that's too cruel.
Oh, man. That was a good one. So Henry ignored it for a year, but during that year, Henry had his little gossip mongers spread rumors that she was mentally ill and having sex with priests.
Aww.
Because she had a good reputation, and he couldn't. He couldn't.
How do you ruin the reputation of a nun?
If she's
saying they've been having sex with priests.
Yeah, and that's how that one Halloween costume was born. Whenever there's a pregnant woman, she has to be a nun, and the husband has to be the priest. Hate it. So when her reputation was thoroughly trashed, he arrested her.
Also, yeah, he's the king. He can spread as many crazy rumors as he wants.
Well, it wasn't even him. He had his courtiers do it, like his little creatures.
I hear she has a tail.
Right. So in
what you're telling me is he paid a bunch of people to troll her.
He's
like
Milo.
like Twitter bots almost.
He's Milo. Who's that douche canoe?
I don't even want to say his name. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's
but it's Milo Yiannopoulos. He's
nobody likes him.
He's a twat.
Fuck you, twat. Anyway,
that's the title of the episode.
1533. She'd been arrested, and they forced her to confess that she'd faked it all. And then one asshole friar was like, "Oh yeah, I totally saw her, I don't know, having sex with a priest or whatever." And the only reason he did that is because two other friars in his same friary were also, he jumped them in with her and wanted one of their positions. So when those two other friars were imprisoned, he gave evidence against all three of them, and then he got a promotion. Yeah, he's a dick.
Scumbag.
So she was convicted by a bill of attainder, which meant that she could be punished without a trial, and she was hanged and beheaded for treason.
Aww.
Hanged and beheaded?
Yeah, they really wanted a thorough...
We got to make sure, you guys.
Now, did they do it while hanging?
Like she was hanging and they like climbed up a ladder
and then they
and like scissored her head off. I don't know.
That wouldn't that cause like a huge blood fountain because like all the pressure built up?
Maybe it
People
was
in the front
like
row, you will get wet.
Maybe it was kind of like being drawn and quartered. So they hang you until you're mostly dead, and then they pull you down. And they chop off your limbs and your head. No, wait. First they gut you and show you your own intestines, and then they rip out your heart. But maybe it's like that, but because she was a woman, they were like, we'll only do it like halfway. Or like a fifth.
We'll be nice to her.
We don't want to be too excessive.
Yeah, that would be rude.
We save that for the actually guilty people.
So
I have a prediction that I'm going to get out of this just fine. Oh.
Everything will be
let her
okay. By the way, since these are all martyrs, none of them have happy endings. Next.
Can this help your anxiety?
It did. I am fucked up.
You said they're all murders, right?
Yes, all of them are murderers. So it's totally fine. They murdered Henry's reputation. What?
Whoa.
That's terrible.
No, you said the topic is on murders, right?
Martyrs.
I've been confused this entire episode.
Like, man, what's this nun gonna do?
Fuck, now I want to do an episode about murders of the Tudors.
I'm surprised you haven't.
Well, the problem is it's so fucking hard to do an episode about murders. Like, I could do the Princess of the Tower because Richard III probably had him murdered, but
Richard III is a saint.
There's no fuck Richard III, but there's no forensic evidence back then. So, like,
Ye old police.
Yeah, you do like unsolved mysteries, and then we like recreate the murders and put the spooky music behind it and get Robert Stack in there. He's dead, isn't he?
I think so.
I think Robert Stack is no longer with us.
Moment of silence for Robert Stack.
Possibly.
Maybe he was murdered.
No, Gare, sorry. This is about martyrs. If you want to do
Robert Stack died in 2003. Holy shit.
If you want to do an episode about murders, you're welcome to do the research. It'd be cool, but there's no forensic evidence, so
No, let's continue on with this episode about martyrs, apparently.
MARTYRS.
You have to spell it every
Weren't
topic
you
from
at
now on,
all
'cause I can't.
confused when I said that Jeff was a martyr?
What?
In the beginning of the episode, Jeff was like, it's all about me and I said, yes, he's one of the biggest martyrs I know. Weren't you confused about that at all if you thought it was murderers?
Whoa.
Also,
Did you think Jeff was a murderer?
I might have actually just missed that.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
I can't read the word martyr without thinking it's just a martyr. Like, it's just people who are very Marty-like.
It does have very Old English spelling. Okay, we're going to move on to our next martyr. Anne Askew.
And Askew?
Askew. Yep.
Askew, like ASKEW?
Absolutely. That's how you spell it.
That sounds like a character from a children's book.
She was not. She had an unhappy life. No, she didn't. She had a pretty decent life, and it was just
Until
her
the
death
martyr
that was
happened.
until the torture
Things
happened.
were going pretty good for her until she died.
Torture.
So Anne was born in 1521 in Lincolnshire to a wealthy landowner who was a gentleman of Henry VIII's court. Fun fact, her father was also on the jury that convicted all of the men who slept with Anne Boleyn, allegedly. She was also related to Robert Askew, who led the Pilgrimage of Grace. So you could say rebellion's in her blood. She was a devout Protestant, so we had a Catholic martyr. Now we have a Protestant martyr. She memorized verses in the Bible and studied it voraciously, and eventually her studies of the Bible led her to believe that
Transubstantiation.
Thank you, was false. Garrett, would you like to enlighten our listeners about what transubstantiation is?
Transubstantiation is the act during Catholic Mass where the priest says, he recreates the Last Supper of Jesus, saying, this is my body, this is my blood, but it's, bread and wine. In that moment, when the priest does that, when he blesses the Eucharist, the communion wafers that we all eat, the little crackers, that is, you have to believe that is 100% the body of Christ. That is Jesus'
literally
flesh that you are eating.
Literally. So that
and with the wine, you have to believe that is his blood, like 100%. Like this isn't like, oh, this is just a weird little is this like a symbol? No,
Nope.
that is his blood.
Yep. And that was one of the big issues between Protestants and Catholics. Protestants.
God, after saying that, Catholic Church is fucked up.
I know. Protestants believed in consubstantiation, which is that it just represents the body and blood of Christ.
We're all just playing. We're just playing.
Yeah. So she declared that she didn't believe in transubstantiation, and Lincoln was scandalized. The city, not the president, although I'm sure centuries later when he was reading about it, he was also a little aghast. He clutched his top hat in his beard and was like, somebody shoot me in the head. I can't believe this is real.
Oh, God.
That's terrible. Anyway, so Anne had married a man named Thomas Kimye. He married Kanye West and Kim Kardashian.
I was going to say. Is that just...
God.
His last name.
That's going to be their next child's name, isn't it?
No, that's what people call. That's their celebrity name. Their celebrity. You know how there's
I know.
Bennifer.
Brangelina.
There's Brangelina, and there's Kimye. Jeff and I are
But
Gemily.
that just sounds like a name they actually would give their child, though.
No, they give their children nouns as names.
So you guys are
fucked if I know.
You're Gemily
Yep.
or Emph.
We're Gemily.
I like Emph.
Okay, we'll go with M. Well, what if we just call us Emery?
Just
Emery? No, you can't do that. Not
then
in
everyone's
today's
gonna think you're
climate,
racist.
Fuck. We're Gemily. Anyway, this guy's name was Thomas Kyme. Kyme, I think it's pronounced.
Kin?
But
Maybe
he
just
was.
Kin?
I like Kyme.
Kine.
I'm all out of Kyme. He was a devout Catholic, and when his wife was declaring that she didn't believe in a core testament of the Catholic faith, he was not too pleased. So he kicked her out, and she was like, that's fucking fine. I hated you anyway. So she moved to London, and basically it was like Sex in the City. She met other Protestant ladies, and they would meet around nightly to chat about how troublesome Catholics are.
Go to their daily brunches together,
talk about,
and then she
grab
write
some
books about
Cosmos
sex.
and Protestantism. Exactly. She became a preacher, just like I'm pretty sure there was a moment in Sex and the City where Carrie Bradshaw becomes a preacher, I think.
That's some guy named Mr. Big.
Then in March 1545, her husband, Prince Asshole, I was going to call him King Asshole, but Henry VIII is King Asshole. Her husband, Prince Asshole, had her arrested. He brought her back to Lincolnshire. I'm probably saying that wrong. Fucking Brits. He brought her back to Lincolnshire, and he told her to stay, and she said, fuck that, and dug a tunnel with a rock hammer, hiding the hole under a poster of Raquel Welch, and escaped back to London.
Raquel Welch.
It's a Shawshank Redemption reference.
I thought it was Hedley Lamar.
He has 2 posters, one of Raquel Welch.
Okay.
She was in Planet of the Apes.
Nope.
She's wearing that skimpy thing.
It's like 10 million BC or something like that. Woman.
Who's in Planet of the Apes?
I don't know. I work at a movie store. I've seen that movie covered many times by very many creepy guys.
That's upsetting.
Yep.
I'm wrong. Either way, a year later, she was arrested again. Then she was released. Then later that year, she was arrested for a final time.
Linda Harrison, I believe.
Was in Planet of the Apes.
Thank you. Never would have guessed that on my own.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
Whatever.
It's okay. When I was doing the research and I was trying to make the Shawshank Redemption, I was thinking Rita Hayworth. And I'm like, nope, that's way too early. No Rita Hayworth. Anyway, she was arrested finally, and this time she was tortured. She is the only woman to be tortured in the Tower of London. I'm pretty sure it was illegal to torture women.
Huh.
And she was put on the rack.
Didn't stop any of them, did it?
It didn't stop Richard Rich, who was a dick.
Wait, hold on. Richard Rich?
Yes, the Edward Herman from the movie Richard Rich Sr. His name actually was Richard Rich.
We got a lot of alliteration in this one.
We do. This is the alliteration episode. So she was put on the rack where she had her arms tied above her to a wheel and her legs below her tied her to a wheel. And they stretched it until her limbs popped out of their sockets. It wasn't fun. So they wanted her to name other women who were of a similar mindset. And it wasn't just because they were sexist. They really wanted her to name Catherine Parr, the current queen, as a practicing Protestant. And she refused because she's a fucking baller. But then she was left in her prison cell for a month. And in June of 1546, she was finally convicted of heresy. Well, she'd been racked so badly that her bones never mended, and she had to be carried on a chair to the site of her burning, and they had to nail a little plinth, or a little like stool to the plinth, and prop her up on that, and then secure her to the stake with chains, and that's when they burnt her. There was somebody nice who put gunpowder around her neck, but it still took 15 minutes for her to die.
Ugh.
And that's Anna Skew. Jeff looks terrified.
Her body was...
Her head
pulled
was
all
blown
askew.
up?
Would you rather have your head blown up, or would you rather roast?
I'm just trying to visualize all the audience not expecting it.
The carnage.
I wish this one was about just normal-ass murders.
Like, oh, man, let's go as burn, yeah. And then just kaboom. Jesus Christ, what the hell happened? And that's
I'd
why
much
you don't
rather
be a
blow up.
Protestant.
Audience in the front row, you will get wet.
Yeah. It's like, that's why I'm to be a Protestant. Your head will explode.
Yep, not good times.
It's like a Gallagher show.
I really like, no one's probably expecting that at all. Just out of nowhere, just boom. Jesus Christ.
By the
like-
way...
Just
I
a
don't know
normal
where I got
burning.
This is the moment where you're like, this is a real history. And people are like, man, today our life sucks nowadays. No! People are being
heads
burned.
were-
Heads were
our
being
heads
blown up while being burned alive.
Yep.
That was common.
Henry did have 72,000 people executed during his reign, but
I say execute. That's what I'm talking about. Executions were common.
yeah. And also think of that compared to actually the size of England. 72,000 people is a devastating number. Compared to the U.S. today,
Yeah.
small. Compared to England back then, holy fuck. It's like the Black Plague again.
God, history is fucked up.
I know, I love it.
And that's why we broke away from Britain.
And that's why we
We're-
declared a revolution. Fuck yeah,
We were
America.
kicked out.
We're recording this on July 3rd, by the way, the day before the 4th of July, which is the day we declared our independence. Thank you, Bill Pullman.
I wouldn't mind going back to Britain. Nah, never mind. They've got their own shit.
There's a lot of fuck up
God, the
happening
world's
there
fucked
too.
up.
Canada. Going to Canada.
No, their prime
Canada.
minister was just accused of groping.
Weed is legal.
Yeah, we're fucked. Australia?
No, hell no. It's a prison colony.
Jesus Christ.
That and all their
Okay,
animals will kill you.
What's like a European Canada? Switzerland.
Oh, yeah.
Switzerland or Sweden?
Ooh, let's go to Sweden. Wait, Freakazoid taught us how to say stuff in Norwegian.
They narwhal.
They narwhal.
Narwhal.
Also, I'm sorry to everyone from Australia who I just called an Australian prison colony. That was just a joke. I didn't mean that.
I thought you were
You're all
going to
swell
be like,
people.
no, we can't go there. Everything tries to kill you. Not holler at them for their very unfortunate beginning as a country.
New Zealand.
Ooh, New Zealand's a good one. It's like Australia 2.0.
Just go live in the Shire.
We could go there. I'm down to New Zealand. Who else wants to go to New Zealand?
All right, pack your bags,
New
kids.
Zealand.
Let's go get some kiwi. Are you ready for our third martyr?
Oh my God.
I mean, is it going to be any worse than the last one? Jesus Christ.
No, I included this one because I happened to stumble across him and I'd never heard of him before.
Ooh, it's a him.
It is a
Finally,
him.
some dudes getting killed.
Okay, I have a story about a woman who was burned. I mean, I guess you could call her a martyr because she died for her faith. It's fucking. I mean, this story alone is probably why she's called Bloody Mary.
Ugh.
And I'm like torn about whether I want to share it. It's pretty fucking dark. Do you guys want to hear it?
Go through this one, next one, and see how you feel.
Yeah.
The next one's not bad. I mean, he still dies, but. So
We're on a roller coaster here. We're going low, then we're going high.
Yeah.
We're real high, and then we come back down.
So John Frith, Frith, was born in 1503, and he attended Cambridge, where he was tutored by Stephen Gardiner, who was a conservative. He also met a man named Thomas Bilney, and this Thomas started taking him to meetings, and they were all about the Protestant Reformation. It was probably during one of these meetings where he met a gentleman named William Tyndale. Tyndale is known for doing the English translation of the Bible. Big no-no in that time period, but hugely helpful for the Protestants.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be Latin.
It's supposed to be
Yeah.
Latin because only the priests are smart enough to understand
only
it and
the
tell you what it
educated are
means.
supposed to be able to read it.
Yeah.
I'm just totally waiting for our country to go that way. No, never mind. Everybody here sucks and refuses to understand that there are other languages. So he graduated in 1525, and he became a junior canon at Wolsey's Cardinal College in Oxford.
Junior what?
Junior canon?
Is that like the Cub Scouts for then?
Yeah, he had to take an oath and everything.
Had to sell popcorn door to door.
I think it's like a religious secretary.
That makes more sense.
Would you like to buy some popcorn? While there, he was imprisoned in a cellar because he had heretical books. And the cellar where he was imprisoned was previously used for storing fish. So that was not a very nice 6 months. So he was released, and he decided that it was a good time to get the fuck out of England. So he joined his buddy Tyndale in Antwerp, and together they discussed their views on purgatory. Essentially, they both denied that purgatory exists and denied transubstantiation. Garrett, do you want to tell our listeners what purgatory means?
The show Lost.
Not that one.
Damn it.
Purgatory is where you go if you weren't good enough for heaven, but you weren't bad enough for hell, and you just kind of sit there and you kind of burn and suffer for a while until they're like, you're clean, and then you can go to heaven.
So Ohio.
Holy shit. Oh my god.
He just had that one ready. Oh, fuck.
You say in front of your wife who's from Ohio.
I'm not from Ohio. I was born in Indiana and lived here for 10 years before moving to Ohio. Ohio is probably purgatory.
I keep forgetting that you were born here. Continue.
Oh, that was a good one, Jeff.
That was really good.
So anyway, they denied that purgatory existed. In 1532, he, for some fucking reason, was like, I'll go back to England. I'm sure everything's cooled off. Well, it hadn't, and Thomas More was in charge, and Thomas More was a pretty fucking hard... He was a cutthroat Catholic. That's the episode title.
That is a show title.
Yes.
Cutthroat Catholics.
Coming to the National Geographic Channel.
So Thomas More issued a warrant for his arrest. So this is like my favorite thing in this whole episode, I think. So John Frith decided to put on an elaborate disguise. They specified that it was an elaborate disguise. And he tried to escape.
He had glasses, a mustache, and a nose and everything.
What does an elaborate disguise look? He just had a Groucho Marx, like one of those Groucho Marx sets on.
I'm not turtly enough for the Turtle Club.
I'm trying to figure out what an elaborate disguise in the Tudors times looks like, because normally it'd just be like he put on a dress and stuffed his chest with fake boobs. But elaborate is like indicative of like Sherlock Holmes type shit.
Oh man, he got Stan Winston all over on this.
Elaborate disguise.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes.
There was a montage and everything.
Luck be a lady tonight.
Well, he was discovered, and he was in prison for 8 months.
One of his
While
boobs
still in
fell out.
makeup.
Pierce Brosnan was choking on a shrimp, and John Frith jumped out of nowhere
Help is on the way, dear.
and saved his life, but revealed himself, and Thomas More was there too.
Dun dun dun.
But in
So-
the end, he still got to see his kid again.
He was imprisoned in the Tower, but then he was transferred to Newgate Prison. Throughout
Did you go
his
to men's prison or ladies' prison?
what?
You go to the men's or the women's prison.
His disguise wasn't that elaborate. So while he was in prison, he continued to write about his beliefs, which was really he literally was like, I'm writing this knowing that I'm giving them stuff to kill me with. Like, I'm giving them evidence as I write this, but I don't give a shit.
That's a pretty good fuck you.
Yeah, it really was. So while he was in prison, Tyndale wrote to him to keep his spirits up, and both of those letters survive, which is really fucking cool when you think about a letter from 1530s surviving to today. However, he was tried, and one of his jurors was his previous tutor, Stephen Gardiner. And he was convicted of heresy, sentenced to death, and was burned on June 1533. Thus concludes our martyr episode.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions?
So what happened to this other chick?
Any questions?
What other chick? Okay. This is a hard one, guys. It involves a pregnant lady.
Oh God.
Oh, dear.
A pregnant Protestant was burned at the stake, and she was very heavily pregnant.
Oh.
It's so
All right.
It gets worse.
I
I
take it.
got
People
ideas.
hear certain things.
Yeah, I can't say it. Just know that it was really bad.
Oh God.
It was.
If people want to look that up on their own, what was her name?
I don't know her name. It was just. I think you could just Google. Hold on.
Careful with that now.
Hold on.
Once again, history's fucked up.
You know what, Jeff? It kind of is. It kind of is.
Sounds like a PSA.
Paratine Massey. Hold on, let me check. Okay, Paratine Massey. Perotine Massey. If you want to look it up, it is brutal, guys. I don't care if you're into true crime and you can handle this stuff. It's not pleasant. It's sad stuff. Anyway, that's it.
Martyrs, not a happy topic.
No, I know, but still we laughed a lot. So I think we.
Why
should
did
all
I
go
think
to
it was going to be
church.
better if it was murders?
I mean, it might have been a little better.
At least they're assholes for being murderers.
This guy got stabbed. No one knows who did it. It's not all these people are assholes and tortured and killed somebody.
Oh, wait. I just Googled Tudor murders. Oh, fuck. There's a book. Tudor, Passion, Manipulation, Murder. The story of England's most notorious royal family. All right, wait. Murder in Tudor England. Discover the infamous case that horrified Henry VIII.
Number 6 will shock you.
Number 6 will shock you.
Brought to you by BuzzFeed Books.
Da, 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 da. Murders of lovers.
Take our quiz on what food would you be if you got murdered.
Okay, there's a book called The Tudor Murder Files.
Yeah, that sounds like everything that you like wrapped up into one package.
It really does. True crime. Henry VIII.
Book.
Book.
You might double check some of these to see their legitimacy.
All right, I'm reading this directly from a website. Can you imagine if the Queen today took such a personal interest in a murder case that she asked Parliament to pass a special law to stop it happening again? This was exactly what Henry VIII did in the case of Richard Roos, accused of trying to... Oh, we did talk about this. Accused of trying to poison a bishop in 1531. Henry was so appalled by the idea of poisoning that he was instrumental in getting a special act passed, decreeing that those who used this particular method of killing should be boiled alive. Roos met a truly gruesome end described in detail by the chronicles of the day. Oh, I don't know if I like this author anymore. Because his next sentence is, yet the true perpetrator of the plot may have been Henry VIII's future wife, Anne Boleyn.
And King Richard did nothing wrong.
Richard did nothing wrong. Richard did everything wrong. Anyway, I think that's it.
Yeah, that was a good one. A little dark, but good.
Yeah.
Fun thing to come back to.
Right?
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 70.
Hello. We have happy topics. No, we don't.
Ha
That's it, right?
I'm pretty sure.
I think that's it. Housekeeping.
Beep.
Beep, beep. Find us on Twitter at Tudor Know Her, and find us on Facebook at Tudor I Hardly Know Her. If you noticed a decline in my amount of posts lately, that's my fault. I deleted Facebook, my personal Facebook, and sometimes that app is on the second page of my phone, I kind of don't get the notifications as easily as when I was on Facebook every fucking second of my life.
You might be able to adjust your phone so you get notifications just from our page.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Rate and review us.
Tell your friends.
Do that, please. Thank you.
And subscribe. And tell your friends.
Yeah.
And if your friends don't like Tudors, get new friends and then tell them.
Also, by the way, if you guys like just a little thing for me, if you guys like radio, I am a radio DJ now.
He is. Garrett's promoted.
Yeah.
What's the radio? Is that like internet in cars?
It's a thing our grandparents listened to when they had nothing better to do.
Used to get stoned and watch the radio.
Get stoned, watch the radio when they weren't off dying in wars and shit. No, if you ever want to hear one of my on-air shifts, I am on the air on Live 99.9. If you just Google that, you can find our on this website streaming app thing. I am on from 2 to 6 in the morning Eastern time, though, so if you're up that late, give me a listen.
Garrett's cool.
Yeah.
If you can't
My
get
name
enough
is
of Garrett.
Easy G.
Oh, God, that would be.
Yep.
He is Easy G.
Yeah, I'm easy. But everyone calls me Sleazy G, and I hate it. Aww. But then I found out what my drag name would be, and it's Sleazy Gina. And I'm really proud of that.
Well, we can call you Sleazy Gina.
Thank you. So until next time.
Until next time?
Divorce, beheaded, died. Divorce, beheaded, survived.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Beep, beep. Beep, beep.